You have been falsely sold a myth, and this myth has 3 faces. The first face says that you need to be happy. The second, that happiness is something that can be achieved. And the final face of this myth says that happiness is a state that you should feel constantly. You begin to question one of those faces. I don't think I should feel happy constantly. And one of the others shouts all the more loudly at you. You need to feel happy. You can feel happy. And so when your doubts are in an echo chamber, the myth becomes all the more real, and you, its devoted follower. You experience small moments of clarity, brief escapes from the claws of this myth, but somehow you get pulled back into it. See the 3-faced myth of happiness. Our system, our society, our culture is based on it. And to lose that myth is to lose our place. It's for things to stop making sense. It's to stand out, to be alone, not chasing happiness. And those faces cry out, you are lacking. And so you return to your servitude to this illusionary happiness. But let's ask ourselves this question, because the doubts do arise in your mind. Who invented this myth? Who's gaining from it? Why is this myth of happiness so entrenched within our culture? We see that the myth keeps us consuming. And capitalism, it's based on consumption. I mean, what do you call someone that buys a product? Consumer. That's you. A consumer fallen for the myth of happiness, that you need to consume more or you won't be happy and you will be deficient. The myth feeds consumption, and consumption feeds capitalism. Your unhappiness forces you to forge on to work and earn, to pay rent, to buy property, to advance, to get that bigger car, to buy the nice furniture, to do little things, to feel that little bit better. The entertainment package, the nice meal, the expensive holiday, those small micro transactions, the little treat that you deserve because you don't feel great in this moment, the pick-me-ups. And not just the products that you buy, but also those brief moments of entertainment, binging through shorts for a brief moment of stimulation, of a glimpse, an echo of happiness. We give away our money, we give away our time, we give away our autonomy, we give away our thoughts, we subject our feelings, all to this myth that we worship, that happiness is something that we need, that we can have, and everyone else and us should have constantly. There are consequences of being a follower and being trapped by this myth. The obvious one of being stuck in a cycle of consumption. And behind that, out of that sense of deficiency, a striving constantly for more, for this elusive state of happiness that maybe one day we'll reach if we keep striving. The only constant we're left with is that. The striving for a promise we never reach. We are anxious, comparing ourselves to celebrities and figures that seem to have it all. Looking at our appearance, our bank balance, the size of our family, our social competences, our mental well-being, comparing that to unachievable ideals, and just being aware, anxiously, just being aware of how far away perfection is from us, without being able to let go of the trek towards it. And this myth, it changes our relationship with the very essence of what it is to be human. It changes our trusting of our feelings. If happiness is seen as the pinnacle, a state that we should achieve and bathe in all hours of the day, then all other sensations, all other feelings are lacking, or deeper than that, wrong, threatening, to be avoided. We are taught that sadness is something that needs fixing, something that we need techniques to overcome. That an impulsive purchase will erase it, that we should ignore it, fix it, medicate it. But what we're not taught within this myth is to feel sadness. That sadness is as desirable as happiness, as directive, that it can help us to move positively. Just like the striving for happiness can optimize us, feeling and responding to our sadness can help us to thrive. Like all emotions, we don't feel what we feel because it's a mistake. We feel what we feel because we are designed to feel it. It's human to experience all things, to let those feelings, irrelevant to how intolerable, unpleasant, or unacceptable by followers of the myth are, to inform our behaviour, to move us, to deepen our self-understanding of who we are moving towards, to make way for all feelings, and not just for happiness or feelings that we're labelled positive. And we open ourselves up to the experience of being fully human. We're no longer afraid that our fears will overwhelm us or entrap us from ever progressing, but respect fear as keeping us safe. We no longer look at anger as a savage thing that's going to hurt us or people around us, but respect anger as standing up for our rights and battling injustice. We no longer view sadness as a well within us that will never stop, a deep pit of sorrow, but we allow it to facilitate grief, to overflow into disappointment, and to process where our expectations haven't been. When the goal of happiness becomes less important than the process of living and feeling and moving towards contentment, then we no longer are overwhelmed with anxiety, because the world no longer needs to be just so. We no longer feel like a failure, so we need to compare ourselves to the facade that others present of themselves or advertisers present our life as it should be. We begin to respect anxiety as a guide, as an understanding that things are uncertain, and it's uncomfortable to be faced with uncertainty in our lives or our future. But we're no longer overwhelmed by uncertainty. Instead, we're open to the full range of human experience, however tolerable and pleasant, or intolerable and uncomfortable it is. We realise that there is little that can be thrown at us, that we can cope with awkwardness, that rejection doesn't feel quite so rejecting, that pain doesn't go through to our core, and that hurt only lingers for so long. And feeling anxious about things that we cannot control no longer feels quite so anxiety provoking. We're not as sad about sadness. We're not as anxious about anxiety. We're not as angry about anger. We find a sense of acceptance even in the most unacceptable, dark parts of ourselves. We're able to bring a sense of compassion even to our shadow. We see ourselves as trying our best, as continuing to climb even in the face of difficulty. We respect ourselves. We see ourselves as a full human, actualizing, embodying the full flow of feelings and thoughts, observing ourselves rather than hating ourselves. And most importantly, we have room to stop feeling, to let go of the danger of neutrality. This enables us to be able to rest and switch off without feeling deficient. We smite that third head that tells us that we should be happy constantly. And we realise that it's okay to not be feeling. It's okay to pause, to be. We unlock our tolerance to that most powerful state of being. We are able to expose ourselves to boredom. We sit, we observe ourselves. We pause from striving towards happiness. And in so doing, we realise that we don't have to do anything right now. In pausing, we catch our breath, we regain our potential. Creativity is nurtured within the space of a pause. Out of boredom flows thoughts. Out of boredom flows ideas. Out of boredom flows reflection, perspective, potential. And it's only in boredom and pausing that we really have opportunity to practice gratitude. A discipline of acknowledging our pursuit of happiness, of acknowledging our accomplishments, and reassuring ourselves that we have been walking for quite some distance, that we have achieved so much, even if we feel lost or stuck. We have got so far, and we can trust those legs to keep going. We can trust ourselves, our humanity, our ability to adapt, to feel, to respond. We can acknowledge our strengths, the strengths that will keep us going forward. And out of this silence, this compassion, this reflectiveness, this sense of being fully human, in contact with our deepest thoughts and sensation, allowing each feeling to flow. Out of that, we see the myth for what it is. We see with utter clarity that we don't need to be walking that same walk of striving towards perfection and happiness. The pressure of journeying to constant glee is gone. Happiness shifts from a finish line that we'll never ever reach to a momentary feeling, part of the ebbs and flows of the human experience. We recognise it as an emotion, a reward that helps us to know what we like. We see it as a flavour that mixes into a emotion of pride where there's no shame at acknowledging our accomplishments. We see it as underlying the things that are important to us. We see happiness as a tool for us to be able to love. We see happiness as aligning with our values. We see happiness as something that we reach often, we can taste, but it's not everything. We don't binge on happiness. We're not addicted to it anymore. It's a complement to our life, a feeling that we feel. We have no fear about happiness going. We're not clinging to it. We're not milking it. We just observe it as it's here. We look back on our fears of letting go of this myth. The fear that if we weren't striving constantly towards happiness, then maybe we wouldn't strive at all. Maybe we wouldn't be able to exist in our society. We look back on that fear, a distant memory, and then we chuckle at the irony. The more we strived for happiness, the more we strive for perfection, actually, the less happy we are, the more aware we were of what we were lacking, the more discontent and afraid of contrary feelings we were, and the less happy we felt. And so in the process of letting go, in the process of self-acceptance of whatever was there and all parts of ourselves, we found a freedom to live authentically, to drop the myth, to see it as unattainable, and in so doing, we found connection with ourselves and the happiness that was available the whole way along.